Today, we are diving into a shocking trend that's sweeping through the global automotive industry. Massive layoffs, factory closures, and major restructuring efforts. From iconic names like General Motors and Volkswagen to premium brands like Audi and Mercedes-Benz. The industry is facing challenges that could reshape its future. Is the shift to electric vehicles too ambitious? Are companies struggling to keep up with the global competition? Stay tuned as we break it all down and uncover what's driving these seismic changes. General Motors is making bold moves to stay competitive in the electric vehicle market. The company recently introduced layoffs of affecting nearly 1,000 employees, in addition to the buyout offers introduced last April for salaried staff, aiming to save approximately $2 billion by end of this year. About 5,000 GM white-collar workers accepted the company's buyout offers, which the automaker at that time said that it was enough to avoid layoffs. CEO Mary Barra reiterated GM's commitment to phasing out combustion engine vehicles in the US at least by 2035. The company has invested over $4 billion to retool its Spring Hill plant for electric Cadillacs and to build a battery factory nearby. GM is offering 9 EV models across its brands and taking advantage of federal subsidies worth $800 million. However, these incentives face risk due to shifting political landscapes, with Trump vowing to repeal or undermine Biden's auto and energy policies.
And I will end the electric vehicle mandate on day one. Thereby saving the U.S. auto industry from complete obliteration, which is happening right now, and saving U.S. customers thousands and thousands of dollars per car.
Mercedes-Benz is facing similar challenges in its electrification journey. The company has announced billions in cost cuts and cancelled its next-generation EV platform called MB.EA Large to save up to 6 billion euro. Instead, Mercedes will focus on improving its current EV architecture while maintaining its ZUSI 2030 policy, which protects employees from compulsory redundancies until 2029. Polestar, on the other hand, is navigating financial difficulties. The company has reduced its workforce by 15%, but secured over $1 billion in funding to support the launch of the Polestar 3 and 4. Despite challenges, Polestar believes and remains committed to sustainability and innovation. While some automakers are betting big on EVs, others are scaling back their operations to manage costs and stay competitive. Volkswagen is facing one of its toughest challenges yet, considering the closure of up to 3 German factories and potential layoffs of over 10,000 workers. These closures are part of a major restructuring to address factory costs, which are up to 50% higher than planned. CEO Thomas Schaffer emphasized the need to slash costs across various divisions to maintain competitiveness. Ford has announced similar restructuring efforts, with plans to reduce its European workforce by 4,000 employees by 2027. The cuts will primarily affect Germany and the UK, and working hours at its Cologne plant will also be reduced. Nissan's restructuring plan is another significant development, involving 9,000 global job cuts and 20% reduction in its manufacturing capacity. Struggling with declining sales in major markets like China and the US, the company is also selling its third of its stake in Mitsubishi Motors to raise funds. With debt repayment set to surge to almost 6 billion by 2026, Nissan faces mounting financial pressures. Audi has confirmed the closure of its Brussels plant by February 28, 2025, unless an investor steps in. The plant employs 3,000 staff and currently produces Q8 e-tron. Tensions have escalated during labor negotiations, with workers protesting management decision. Stellantis is also cutting costs, with 1,000 layoffs planned at its Toledo plant in North America by January 2025. The company aims to boost competitiveness following earlier layoffs in Michigan. These widespread layoffs and factory closures reveal just how much pressure the automotive industry is under. But the challenges don't stop there. Beyond the factories, suppliers are also facing similar struggles, and financial burdens are mounting across the board. Bosch has announced plans to cut 5,500 jobs in its automotive division, citing slower than expected adoption of EVs and software-driven vehicles. Most of the cuts will occur in Germany by 2027. Schaeffler, another key player, is reducing its workforce by 4,700 employees across Europe, with almost 3,000 just in Germany. The company's restructuring is expected to save almost 300 million euro annually by 2029. Michelin has announced closure of its 2 plants in France and 2 in Germany, affecting over 2,700 jobs. Rising costs and competition from Asia imports are driving these decisions, and Michelin adjusts its global operations. All of these issues, from automakers scaling back operations to suppliers cutting jobs, are interconnected, creating a ripple effect across the entire automotive ecosystem. But why this is happening? Let's break it down in the bigger picture. The first pillar is the electrification push. When we look back at the transition to electric vehicles, it's clear that governments played a pivotal role in kickstarting the movement. Initially, governments worldwide aggressively promoted EV adoption through subsidies, tax credits, and infrastructure investments. These strategies served 2 essential purposes. First, they helped create demand for EVs in a market dominated by internal combustion engine vehicles, making EV financially competitive. Second, they encourage automakers to invest heavily in EV technologies, develop production capabilities, and build the ecosystem needed for mass adoption. During the early phase, we saw a wave of incentives. In the US, federal tax credits made EVs accessible to consumers. In Europe, countries like Germany and Norway introduced robust incentive programs, while China aggressively promoted both EV production and sales.
Global markets are now flooded with cheaper Chinese electric cars. And their price is kept artificially low by huge state subsidies. This is distorting our market. And as we do not accept this distortion from the inside in our market, we do not accept this from the outside.
This was a necessary step to break the inertia of traditional automotive markets and pave the way for electric mobility. But as time passed and major automakers began adopting their strategies to focus on EV production, governments started scaling back their incentives. This shift is understandable when we consider a few key factors. First, subsidy programs are expensive and over time put significant strain on public budgets. Second, as automakers become more capable of producing affordable EVs and consumers' interest grew, the market began maturing, reducing the perceived need for financial support. Third, many regions had already achieved their initial environmental goals, promoting governments to reevaluate their spending priorities. And finally, reducing subsidies encourage competition, driving automakers to lower cost and improve technology without relying on public funds. However, this pullback has not been without its challenges. In many regions, EVs still remain more expensive than their internal combustion counterparts without subsidies. The sudden withdrawal of incentives in countries like Germany, Sweden, UK, Switzerland, Norway, and others led to sharp declines in EV sales, showing just how dependent the market has been on these government programs. Automakers too are under increased pressure to balance affordability with sustainability, all while competing in less subsidized and more demanding market environment. So while governments played a vital role in fostering the EV transition, their gradual withdrawal from incentives reflects a shift toward letting the market drive growth. But the big question remains: is the market truly ready to sustain growth without government support? If not managed carefully, this shift could risk stalling adoption or creating an uneven playing field for automakers and consumers alike. The second pillar is economic headwinds. Global inflation, rising raw materials costs, and competition from Chinese automakers have created significant challenges for the automotive industry, reshaping how cars are built, priced, and sold.
And right now, as we speak, large factories just started, are being built across the border in Mexico. So with all the other things happening on our border, and they're being built by China to make cars and to sell them into our country, no tax, no anything.
Rising production costs, especially for EV batteries made from materials like lithium and nickel, have squeezed automakers' profits. This had led to higher vehicle prices, making cars are less affordable for many buyers. Coupled with rising interest rates, financing has also become more expensive, further slowing down competition. Electric vehicles, while essential for the future, have been particularly affected. Already pricier than a gas-powered car, their adoption has slowed, production costs rise, and government incentives shrink. Many automakers have shifted focus to higher-end EVs, limiting affordable options. Meanwhile, Chinese automakers like BYD and NIO are capitalizing on their cost advantages, producing competitive and feature-rich EVs at significantly lower cost. The third pillar is geopolitical tensions. The automotive industry is facing significant challenges not just from economic pressures, but also from geopolitical tensions, conflicts, and logistical disruptions. For example, proposed tariffs on imports from countries like China, Mexico, and Canada in the US have raised concerns over potential trade wars.
The tariffs. The word tariff to me is the most beautiful word in the entire dictionary. They're going to tariff the hell out of them. I am a tariff man.
These measures, while aimed at protecting domestic industries, could severely impact automakers. In the Middle East, the ongoing war has disrupted supply routes, impacting vehicles and component imports in the region and driving up costs. For instance, shipments of automotive components and vehicles destined for markets like Palestine, Jordan, Egypt, Israel, and Lebanon have faced significant delays and increased costs due to heightened security risk and disrupted infrastructure. These challenges ripple outward, affecting the broader supply chain as manufacturers and suppliers reroute goods or absorb additional cost. A major choke point in this region is the Suez Canal, one of the world's most vital maritime trade arteries. Approximately 12% of global trade and a significant portion of automotive shipments pass through this canal. Automakers often face the difficult choice of waiting for shipments to clear or opting for more expensive alternative routes, such as rerouting through the Cape of Good Hope, which significantly increases transit time and cost. In summary, the automotive industry is navigating a storm of challenges that go beyond economics, from tariffs and conflicts to regulatory shifts and supply chain disruptions. Resilience and adaptivity have become crucial for manufacturers to survive and thrive in this evolving global landscape. The cumulative effect of these geopolitical and logistical issues has been profound. Automakers are experiencing production delays, escalating costs, and the need to reevaluate their supply chains. Many companies are now exploring alternative sourcing strategies and adapting to rapidly changing regulations to maintain their competitiveness. While some brands will likely emerge stronger, others might not survive the pressure. So it means let's think and brainstorm. Let me know in the comments below. Which automakers do you think is the best position to weather the storm and which might fall behind? My name is Bogdan and you have watched the Automotive Overview. See you next time.